very values-driven organisation, and we have a very clear commitment, which is that we will deliver sustained growth, and that's sustained from a business perspective, but also sustained from an environmental and a broader corporate social responsibility standpoint. We have a very clear view on the role that our people play, and the responsibility rests with people, so we drive very hard to empower our people. And a business that works very hard on integrity. So we should grow through responsibility and trust. That's both with our people, but with our customers and our consumers. A very, with a branded goods FMCG organisation, you have a very, very tangible relationship with your consumers. And people look to the brands with a high degree of trust, and we have to maintain that trust. So that's integral to our business. And then we have some guiding principles that drive that, which is around caring for the consumers, but also the environment we work in. One that's very important to me, which is we sell products, only products we can be proud of, which is pretty fundamental when you start to question yourselves around, are these products contributing positively to people's lives? And you could argue that a snack food or a beverage isn't, but people don't just live to deliver, they have to have some fun in their lives, and we deliver food that gives people a treat, but we also deliver food and beverage that has some functional benefits as well. So selling things that we can be proud of, speaking with truth and candor, being very honest about things in our work environment is important to us, balancing both short and long term, particularly in the current economic climate where it's very easy to get short term focused. We have to keep our eye on the long term. And winning with diversity and inclusion, a big drive, particularly over recent years out of North America, for a lot of corporations is around diversity and inclusion. But we only have to look around our own businesses and do we represent fully the communities that we operate within, and our consumer base as well. And then being very respectful for others, but succeeding together. So a very teamship-based organisation. Now these are the values that PepsiCo globally aspires to. Does it mean we hit all these things every day? No, it doesn't. But it sets the framework within which we operate with our teams. And it's very important in the context of this next slide. This is really the mantra of the PepsiCo organisation, has been for the last 2 or 3 years. And it's a notion of performance with purpose. I talked earlier about the financial performance of Pepsi being very strong. And the reason for putting that in up front was to relate it to this particular chart, where our chief executive talks very candidly about our role as employers and our role in society is to perform with purpose. And purpose falls into 3 areas. Human purpose, which is around the role that our products play in individuals' lives. So if we're selling beverages and food in the third world, are they providing people with health benefits as well as treats? So we have to provide those benefits for people. So that's about better for you products as well as treats. We have environmental purpose, so we have a phrase about tomorrow is greater than today. So the notion that we shouldn't do anything that has a negative impact on society into the long term. Now, are we there now, today? Absolutely not. Will we be there in the future? Absolutely. We have some very ambitious goals and some very strong results and track record in recent years on that. But that's the broader environmental impact of our business. And then talent. How do we grow the individuals and drive our business forward through our people? And that's at all levels in the organisation. And as the phrase at the bottom talks about, Indra Nooyi, who's our CEO, would phrase this much better than I would, but it's not about detracting from the bottom line, is what she's saying there. It's an additive process. If we perform with purpose, we'll ultimately deliver a better business. And this overall framework sets the scene for what this means for our people on the front line. And if you talk to most people in our organisation across the 200,000 employees globally, they would know about this, recognise what it means for them, and understand what their role in that is. So it's a very important message around how do we brand stuff. We're a branded goods organisation, so it's something we're pretty good at. But internally, we do brand it in pretty well. And that message is very important for our employees, that they understand what the business is about. What I'm going to talk about, though, is a framework for our frontline teams that helps them understand their role in this and what it means for them. This framework is something around continuous improvement culture, which I guess most of you have heard of in one guise or the other. I'm not sure how clearly this wheel plays out, but I'll go into details as I walk through it. But it effectively puts our people in the middle, which is the CIC in the centre, and says our people is what will drive our business forward and make it sustainable. Around the outside are 5 key areas to focus on. So what's the structure within our business, and whether that be the plant that you work in, the office you work in, the country you work in. So what's the structure? What's the environment, both physically and culturally, you operate within? What are the processes that the business runs by? And what about the people? Have they the skills, the knowledge, the attitude? And what's the strategy? So you've got a clear vision and roadmap for your organisation. And as I say, we would look towards using this model at all levels within the organisation. But if I look, at my area within Ireland and Puerto Rico, we will use this model with the plant so that the people at the front line understand their roles. So what's important around strategy? So you can see two segments of the pie in orange there, which talks about vision and roadmap. So do your people really understand where the business is going? From PepsiCo in our instance, right the way down to our plant in Cork, in Carrigaline, or in Little Ireland. What is the strategy, and do I understand where the business is going as a frontline employee? And then, as a frontline employee, do I know what the roadmap is to get there? So we might be talking about where we'll be in 5 years' time, but if I don't understand, as a guy working on the line, what that means for me and the roadmap to get there, then I'm missing something. So do we have that in place? When you move from strategy to structure, do we have a structure that supports that? So if we've got the right people doing the right jobs, the right numbers of them, and delivering the right things at the right time. There's a lot to swallow there, but it's pretty straightforward. It's right people doing the right things. Simple as that. And that's really, organisationally, are we delivering the capability for our front lines to succeed? Or are we hampering them by not structuring ourselves appropriately? And then CIC support is, are the processes by which we manage our people there to support us or to hinder us? We talk a lot in PepsiCo about cherishing our frontline employees and cherishing our employees across the organisation. And cherish is an interesting notion because it's around, you instinctively think cherish means a very soft approach to people and difficult to apply to a business environment. The way I think about it, and Jed talked about my family, I guess I've got a bit of experience with 4 daughters, but I cherish my kids. Doesn't mean they're always right, doesn't mean that they get away with murder. There has to be some very simple rules about how we manage within that, but I cherish them, and that's the notion we apply to all of our employees, that we need to cherish them. We need to direct them, we need to lead them in the right direction, we need to give them headroom to succeed as well. And that's what this is about. Do we support people in the right way to grow? Move on from that to environment, and again, this is important in 2 contexts. For those of you who've done your management development courses, you'll all have heard about Maslow. The first part of this is very heavily cued into that around his hierarchy.